Well, the Siya Kolisi Foundation, in partnership with the Imbumba Foundation and the Cultural Foundation, is expected to give more than 500 food parcels that will be delivered in 10 villages in Limpopo. The food parcels will be distributed door-to-door arrangements with strict observation of the COVID-19 regulations, including the wearing of masks, sanitization, social distancing and washing of hands. Let's get an update now and bring in Mike Maringa. He's covering the story for us in Limpopo. A very good morning to you, Mike. Tell us more about this.
Good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. You are indeed correct. We're coming to you from the Matsila lodge, where you can see behind us there are trucks that are busy offloading stuff. Those are the food parcels that you spoke about, where plus minus 500 families are going to benefit from this exercise that's happening here. You mentioned the Nelson Mandela Foundation. They are here. Imbumba is here. Siya Kolisi Foundation is here as well. Let me quickly now talk to the Chief Matsila, just to give us a brief of how did this program come about. Chief Matsila, I see foodstuff is being offloaded here. Beneficiaries, for sure this must be fulfilling for you to have your people receiving food at this time when they are locked at home.
Yes, it is indeed very fulfilling for us to have so much food for our poor families who can't afford food in these trying times of the COVID-19 virus. So we, as the Matsila royal family, we saw it fit that we should call upon foundations, esteemed foundations like the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Siya Kolisi Foundation and the Imbumba Foundation to join us and give us a helping hand and bring food here to the needy communities. And we're extremely happy that we now have got 500 food parcels weighing about 30,000 kilograms. That's a lot of food. It's going to take families for a month or two. We are also happy that they are bringing in masks and sanitizers to our communities to cope against COVID-19. We are also extremely much more happy because they are also going to give us boreholes. As you know, this area is very water scarce, and our government has been not doing enough to give us water at this point in time.
Before I let you go, Chief, let's talk about the distribution process, because we understand people are locked at home. How are you going to distribute this food?
We're going to distribute food in each household, so that we don't want people to be overcrowded and break the COVID-19 regulations. We want our people to receive these food parcels in a safe manner. So we're going to go to each village and distribute to each and every household that has been identified through a transparent process. Because what we are emphasizing is that we need the poorest of the poor to be the ones that first get these food parcels.
That is Chief Matsila. Let me quickly bring in now the CEO of Nelson Mandela Foundation, Silo Hatang. Silo, we understand that the foundation has done a lot for the people of South Africa. Coming to the remote village like Matsila to be part of this process, donating so much food, what does this mean to the foundation? Is this the end of it? Are we going to see you going to other rural areas?
Well, thank you so much, and we're really proud to be associated with the Imbumba Foundation and the Kolisi Foundation, and the fact that both Richard Mabaso and Siya Kolisi are here for us to then see how we can help South Africans in need. It reminds us of Madiba's words back in 2007 when he said that, in 1993, when he said that freedom alone, that we have the right to vote alone is not enough. That what we need, it's more for people to have bread and water. And at the moment, people are in dire straits. They are needing to be helped. And we're saying, let's help our people if we can. And that's why the three foundations, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, the Kolisi Foundation, and Imbumba Foundation have launched Each One Feed One. If each one of us take care of an individual who is in need, if each one of us take care of a family as a family and as communities. The community of Reimsig, for example, taking care of Zanspruit. That's where we should be going. And we are hoping more can be done like that.
It must be said that today we are celebrating its Freedom's Day. People are locked in their houses, and you've got the poor of the poorest all over. As the Mandela Foundation, is there anything else that you are doing to make sure that you garner enough resources to make sure that people get this relief in this trying time?
Well, it's important. Your question is so important because it goes back to the core of the message of this campaign, that each South African must take responsibility for helping another. that each one must make sure that no one goes to bed hungry. And my mentor Leon Vessels told me a story of how recently he saw someone who he usually sees on the street. He said he looks like a ghost today, and he took responsibility for feeding him for the rest of this period. And if each one of us do that, we'll go far. And we will be back in communities like these to help communities for at least 3 months. So we want to thank all our partners who make this thing possible, such as the Old Mutual, who are also contributing hugely to these initiatives. And I think it's important that each one of us say we won't rest until every South African has food during this lockdown period, so that we can abide by the regulations that are there.
That was Silo Hatang, the CEO of Nelson Mandela Foundation, indicating that this is not the last. We are not seeing the last of them. They'll be going to other places where there's a dire need of food parcels or relief in that regard. I must also indicate that we do have the likes of Keizam Taung Jr., Siya Kolisi, and them who are busy assisting the community to offload food there. Hopefully when they live here, to the households that are going to benefit, we'll get a chance to talk to Siya Kolisi. You must understand that the people of this province still have an appointment with Siya Kolisi when Mabogobogo returned from the World Cup. When they had the toss, they went all over, but they never came to Limpopo, and that's what they want to know from him as to why did he not come to Limpopo. But maybe this time around he's coming for a good cause, to give them food when they need it most. It's back to you in the studio.
Yeah, Mike, this virus has the potential of exposing deep fault lines. And here we're talking about hunger, we're talking about poverty, we're talking about unemployment, inequality. So this kind of initiative by the Siya Kolisi Foundation in partnership with the Imbumba Foundation and the Radzambo Cultural Foundation is very, very important indeed. Mike Maringa, live for us in Limpopo. We thank you very much indeed for your reporting.